How has fan feedback been in the game since its release, and how did that play into the expansion that you're releasing very soon?
We value our user feedback greatly. It's one thing that we do every day. We check the forums, we get feedback from our players, and we're always implementing that into the game. And so for Heavensward, yes, definitely we took user feedback and we've implemented that in the game. But it's not that we've waited until Heavensward to implement that feedback. We're constantly implementing that feedback in updates and patches that we have. For example, if the players say that there's something wrong with the user interface, we try to fix that as soon as possible and get that in before an expansion, get those in the updates. We're also getting feedback on things like reward systems, item drops, content difficulty. Not only do we get feedback from the players, but we're taking our own data on the back end and looking at how players are playing in certain areas and the difficulty of areas, and we're making adjustments from that, and adjustments in real time to the game, as well as adjustments to new content that we're releasing for 3.0. So if we were to talk about every single change that we made because of user feedback, it would take forever. We could use the whole 30 minutes here and not be through with it.
From a community perspective and a developer perspective, how have you seen the classes that you'll be introducing in this expansion change over time?
So the 3 new jobs that will be introduced in Heavensward, the Dark Knight, the Machinist, and the Astrologian. Of those 3, the Dark Knight and the Astrologian, when we first came up with the concept of those and decided to go with those, until they actually got into the game, so until now what the players are going to be seeing in a few days, it hasn't really changed much at all. The final job, the Machinist, was a little bit different, and this one had a little bit more, caused a little bit more trouble for us. When we announced it, we had a certain system in place where players would use bullets and they would this reloading system. We finished a certain portion of it and we got to play it ourselves, and we realized it just wasn't that interesting to play. And so rather than releasing it like that, we decided to redo it. And that was all done after we had announced it. We redid it internally and created something that we have now and that we're really happy with. So that one, it caused us a little bit more trouble.
So this is probably the most ambitious MMO expansion we've ever seen in MMO before. I mean, 3 classes. That's absurd. What are you finally most relieved about now that the expansion's finally done, so to speak? And also, where can I get your t-shirt?
Because I'm a hardcore MMO player myself, I wanted this first expansion pack to be something that would surprise players and that players would be really, really satisfied about. And that's why, we decided to have so much content in it. And the development team was really, really motivated, and they were willing to create something with a lot of content that would surprise a lot of players and make everybody say, wow. And I'm just relieved that we made it and we were able to create something, and we do believe that players are going to be really excited about. But myself, even though I'm relieved that it's done, we're not done. We have launch day, and we're worried about server congestion and servers going down, and we really want players to have a stress-free experience on this launch day. So we've been working really hard to make sure that our service will be stable and that players will be able to get in on that first day. But it's still, we have to wait until the first day to see if that actually happens. And so while everybody else is going to be excited to get on the game, I'm going to be sitting there crossing my fingers and hoping that nothing goes wrong. As for the shirt, you can probably ask our PR guy here. He can probably hook you up.
So if you could single out a single personal achievement for the expansion, what would it be?
This isn't something that really talks about the system or certain content that's in Heavensward, but that since the release of A Realm Reborn, every 3 to 3.5 months we've been releasing new patches with new content. And from 2.1 to 2.55, we've been able to release the same amount of content. The content hasn't gone down. This great content at high quality, but while doing that, in the background, also creating an expansion that has more content than our original game had, and being able to do both of these at the same time. I'd just like to thank my development team. They worked really hard to do something that should have been impossible but wasn't, because we got it done. And I think this is probably our greatest achievement, that we're able to accomplish this. As for myself, just the fact that for the past 4 or 5 years I've been going around the world speaking with the media and promoting the game, as well as doing data checks and other director work. The fact that I've been able to pull this off for so long is surprising even to myself.
ぐらいかな。